folks, welcome to week number 9 of Interpersonal Communications online at Hennepin Technical College for fall semester 2014. Hopefully you are coming off a week of a little bit of relaxation and break from classes. I truly think it's important to take some time just to kind of relax, reconnect with family, kind of get things back in order, and that's the wonderful thing that's why the college has that break. At week number 8, we are now officially halfway through. There are 16 weeks in the semester, and we are officially this week on week number 9. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of encouragement and a little bit of motivation to continue on with your good work. Week number 9 is October 20th through October 24th. We are going to be focusing on Chapter 7, which is all about emotions. Also another wonderful chapter. It really helps us understand what happens when emotions flood the brain, how that connects or how that impacts our interpersonal communication. So some really good stuff I think you will enjoy reading about in Chapter 7. And I'm hoping things that you can apply not only in your personal life but in your work life as well. We know sometimes at work the difficulties that we can have comes from emotional reactions to others. So this week, besides your reading, you are going to do a discussion post, which is discussion posting number 3. And again, you're going to respond to 2 classmates. Both of these are due by Wednesday, October 22nd. This week's discussion posting has you taking the emotional quotient quiz. It's really interesting, and once you take this quiz, if you do find this whole idea of emotional intelligence interesting, I encourage you to do some research on it. It is really a fascinating area to look at as far as one of the things that we're saying now in our study and our research is that emotional intelligence is more important than what we call traditional or academic intelligence, and that we see people with higher emotional intelligence being more successful. So really interesting to kind of take a look. If you are interested in this topic, do a little bit of research, because I think you will find it fascinating to see how the studies correlate with high emotional intelligence and success. Also a great chapter for those of you who are parenting. So many times children have a hard time understanding, articulating, expressing emotions, and they're not taught how to do it in a healthy manner that that helps to preserve the relationship. So I think this is a great chapter for those of you who are parents to teach children how to recognize, how to deal with, how to articulate, how to express emotions to others. So hopefully you'll find the information interesting for you. Also, please don't forget that we do have quiz number 7 that is due on Friday, October 24th. You folks are doing a great job on your quizzes. Keep up whatever you're doing. The scores are looking to be very, very good. So however you're preparing, or whatever resources that you are using from that Cengage CourseMate site, please continue to do that, because the vast majority are doing very well. I'm just going to peek ahead with you to week number 10, which is next week, because you do have your second paper is due. And it's an instruction manual that you are going to write for yourself that would be written toward somebody else. And I'll talk about that in just a minute. But just a heads up that is due on Wednesday, October 29th. So I am going to talk about it in this week's YouTube video, simply because I know a lot of you will want to get an early start on it. So I'm going to switch now. If you just follow along here, I'm just going to go back under Table of Contents, and when I click on that, I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom, and you're going to see grading rubrics for assignments. And when you click on that, if you go back up here, you will see instruction manual for relational partners. When you click on that document, you then get an assignment description and a grading rubric. So this assignment is one of the assignments that students tell me at the end of the semester that they enjoyed writing the most. But what you are doing is you are writing an instruction manual just like you would if you bought a new toaster or a new tool that you were using. When we do that, we get a manual from the manufacturer telling us what the machine is capable of doing and how we should take care of it. Unfortunately, as humans, we aren't born with an instruction manual. And that always makes me kind of laugh because I do remember bringing my son home. You have to remember I have two kids. I have a soon-to-be 21-year-old and a 22-year-old. But I remember when I brought my 22-year-old home from the hospital for the first time and laid him in his crib, and I remember thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I've done some reading and I've tried my best to be a prepared new parent, but where's my instruction manual? And so this helps us in some ways to meet that void, although it's not going to be an instruction manual for dealing with a baby, but it would be an instructional manual that you would give to someone that you have a relationship with that would tell them how to deal with you more effectively. So in this paper, I'm reading here right under here in the second paragraph. In this paper, you will remedy that unfortunate social vacuum and prepare an instructional manual about yourself to provide to current and future relational partners, also called RPSs, so they know what to expect, how to interact effectively with you, and how to remedy things when things go wrong. So you can write this paper for somebody who you are a very good friend with. You can write this paper for a roommate. You can write this paper for a coworker. You can write this paper for a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. You can write this paper for your children. You can write this paper for your mother-in-law, your mother, your cousin, anybody that you are in relationship with. Okay, so I was trying to just give you all the possible examples I could think of, but there are many more. The only criteria for who you write this paper for is that obviously you must be in a relationship with them. Your final paper will be about 4 to 5 pages in length. It should be double spaced. Please double check for mechanical and grammar errors. And folks, especially if I wrote on your first paper, your perception paper, that hey, you had quite a few, mechanical errors or grammar errors, please make sure that you go see the folks in the Learning Resource Center. Again, they have seen this assignment multiple times and can really be a lot of help in not helping you format it, but also helping you check for grammar and mechanical errors. You must include a concept. Excuse me, my pup is looking at a squirrel out the window. You must include a concept from each of these 4 areas: verbal communication, nonverbal communication, listening, and emotion. Now, I don't care which of the concepts from the chapter on verbal or the chapter on nonverbal or listening or emotion that you use. I just want you to use at least one concept from those chapters as you analyze your instruction manual. So here's the directions. Write a set of instructions, and I want your paper to be headed Instruction Manual for Dealing with Me. And then I talk a little bit more about a relational partner. And then what I want you to do is you can actually use these headings. So you can actually have a section that says, introductory paragraph. And in this paragraph, you're going to explain to the reader who this manual is designed for. And describe your relationship with this person. How long have you been in the relationship? How many times a week do you interact? Do you interact on a face-to-face basis? Do you interact at work? Do you interact, what is the context? All of that kind of stuff can be included just in this basic introductory paragraph. And then I want to see these sections, and I want you to label these sections. The first section is what I do. So explain to the person who's going to be reading your manual what sort of behavior they will see you doing during the time that you're together. What I usually do in situations or relationships like this. And again, you can pull this back to verbal or nonverbal communication if you want to pull in some concepts there. Your second section is what I think and what I feel. So while this section is about what that person will see you or hear you doing, this one is what's going on underneath, what you can't see in this kind of relationship. What I'm likely to be thinking or feeling when we first get together, what I hope will happen between us, what just general operating principles do you follow, how I usually feel, what my intentions are. All of that goes under the second section, what I think, what I feel. The third section is maintenance recommendations. What your relational partner should do to keep your relationship going well. What serves as fuel to sustain your energy and enthusiasm. Are you a type of person who needs to talk every day or text every day? Are you a type of person who needs to hear all about the other person's day? Are you a type of person who just needs to spend outside with your partner? The next section is safety recommendations. What I recommend you not do. what might disappoint or irritate or hurt me and cause me to withdraw or feel annoyed. So we all have our kind of our pet peeves or things that that annoy us in relationships or that hurt us. So talk about those in this section. The next section is warning indicators. If you do mishandle me, what am I likely to do to indicate that something is wrong? So let's go back to that appliance that you bought for your kitchen. When you are using it and it starts to have a red flashing light on it, you know that there's something wrong. That's a warning indicator. So what are your own personal warning indicators? What do you do? Are you somebody who gets really sarcastic when you're angry? Are you somebody who gets really quiet or withdrawn when you're really upset? So what can that person see you doing or saying to know that you are upset? And then of course the last section, which is logical, is then when my warning indicators are going off, what can you do? What can your relational partner do to get you back on track, to heal or renew the relationship? So you're going to be having all of these sections, and I would like them labeled so that I clearly know what you're writing about. But as you're writing about these, you're going to analyze your behavior using at least one concept from these 4 areas. Now, when we go down to the grading rubric, if you are looking for an A, which is a 27 to 30, you're going to have 6 specific communication examples of your own behavior, and then you're going to analyze those using at least 6 concepts from our textbook, including definitions and page numbers. Now remember, of these 6, you do have to have at least one from each of these 4 areas. So very often what I'll see students do is a couple from here, a couple from here, a couple from here, so that they know that they've hit all 4 areas. So an A paper is going to have 6 specific examples of your behavior, at least. It's going to apply 6 concepts from our book analyzing your communication examples, including definitions and page numbers. And then this analysis is going to fully demonstrate understanding and the ability to apply course knowledge. And then this piece here is really important because it's one thing to be able to identify this is an example of semantic noise. That's great, but that's only the first step of analysis. You need to continue and say, and this is semantic noise because, or I feel this is how semantic noise relates. This is the how and why piece that really demonstrates your understanding. So not just enough to identify the related course concept, but explain how and why that concept relates to your communication behavior. This again is not due this week, but it is due the following week. So again, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit so that you would have a chance to start working on it. It is a 4 to 5 page paper, so most students, I encourage them to start at least a week ahead to kind of make sure that they have time to reflect and write. So if we go back to table of contents, and we go back to our schedule, just again kind of a reminder, here we are this week, week number 9, discussion posting number 3, which is over emotional intelligence, 2 responses to classmates due by Wednesday the 22nd. Quiz 7 is due on Friday the 24th, and then as we look ahead to week number 10, we see we're reading chapter 8, which is sharing personal information. Your instruction manual assignment, which I just talked about, is due Wednesday, October 29th. Again, saved in Word in the Dropbox. And then quiz number 8 is due by Friday, Halloween night, the 31st. So that kind of gives you a good description of what's due for the next 2 weeks, week 9 and week number 10. Please, again, folks, with your instruction manual, if you have any questions, please email me. Also, I'm happy to take a look at your rough draft as long as you get it to me by the Monday before the 29th, so I have time to read it and respond to you. It is amazing to me what a difference it makes when I get to see students' papers ahead of time because it allows me to give you that feedback and comments for suggestion. Okay, hope again, folks, you have enjoyed your break, your end of MEA break, and are rested and relaxed and ready to plow through. You are halfway there, so keep doing the great work that you are doing so far.